the Enneagram to their senior team, and you've been a real advocate and working with your team when you were at the Care Trees, CEO of the Care Trees. So hoping you could share with these folks, you know, your experience and sort of how you got there and what was the benefit, and what was the benefit to you personally.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us was bringing in with skilled trainers, and this is not a commercial for you all, but it is. I guess it's bring it into the organization with skilled trainers was the best thing we did, and we actually brought it in early on, 10 years ago, kind of under a sales training process, and I quickly realized that it could be a huge leadership tool for our senior team, and ultimately, fast forward, the real story for us at the Care Trees, and you heard a number of people that are still there, was that it was an incredible leadership tool for our senior team especially. And our approach on it was that if we were going to work it through the organization, which was always the goal, it had to first start at the highest level of the organization. I had to buy into it. My senior people had to buy into it. And it was buying into it was all about awareness. And cut through all the other stuff with it. To me, it was about leaders being intentional and being aware. And being aware in the present moment, which is still the toughest thing. It's easy to be aware afterwards, and that's, I guess, part of the journey. But being aware in the present moment, and I think that's what it did for us. The best thing. I mean, all of a sudden, the one in our group that could slice and dice somebody with a couple sentences started to be aware that that's not what he should be doing. And a big aha to me was how horrified he was when he realized the negative impact he was having on someone else. And we're all like, well, I just thought you were mean. You just want to be critical of others. But right, so so you start. And for me, the journey around that was around compassion around all the types and realizing there's a lot of stuff, we all have. But being intentional with your leadership and being aware of the impact are probably the biggest things we got. On another level that I think was probably the more human side and really the biggest benefit was our team became incredibly close. I mean, you mentioned it as well. It was a connection at the soul level, I think. And we weren't all best friends that would go out every night, but there was definitely we'd get together in that team, and there was a connection that I've never experienced. And I I think we'll have to work at that in the future.
What did that do for the organization?
Well, the company was sold, as you heard in the stories. It had two of the best years in its history, the last 2 years. The team was on our, so you look back and it's somewhat of a tough story that the organization got sold. I mean, this happens in business, but I left there knowing that we were at the top of our game. And the people that are still there, they're at the top of the game. So we helped build leaders in that organization that will be successful in the successor company, or they'll be successful if they go somewhere else. And that was for me, that was a big deal as CEO, was to be able to say, all right, regardless of what happens in business, because stuff happens all the time, can you develop your people so they'll impact wherever they are, wherever they go? And we used to talk about this. These were life skills. These weren't just business skills. It certainly was. That was the main focus, but it was life stuff we were working on.
And what did it do for you? What is this? I mean, you certainly stayed with this journey over time. So, how do you know it's right action?
Well, I mean, it's helped me get to that right action place. I mean, instinctually for me, it always felt right, and I could see it, I could touch it, I could watch leaders, and then over we're sitting here, watch them grow as people, a mean 8 that used to just leave a wake of people in his path, 10 years ago, is now a trusted, and I would probably say beloved leader within that organization. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing for me to witness and say, wow, I at least had a little hand in helping that, occur within the organization. So, I guess for me, it just shows that, hey, if you take action, good things can happen. Sit around.
Great, thanks. And so that's what we're here